Hey guys, new name here. Now, a few people everywhere often ask me, should I play RuneScape? Well, I don't know, but I do think there are several reasons why it's worth giving a shot. Do the reasons why outpace the reasons why you shouldn't? You tell me down below. Also, make sure to like and subscribe for more RuneScape videos and more content of other games. I wanted to talk about questing first, because questing is a core part of many MMOs. It's how you build your world and immerse players into it, and RuneScape has its own way of building and immersing players into that world. Each area has its own quest line across the map. They will take you on unique and quirky adventures. These adventures often behave more like campaigns of a single-player game than a quest, often being continuous stories where each quest continues where the last left off, following groups, introducing politics of a region, or even watching the elves return to their great lost city, seeing gods rise and fall, or even becoming the king or queen of your own kingdom. What makes this impressive is it's all been done over a stretch of 20 years. With changes in developers as Jagex has been sold, they still manage to follow a story and respect the older roots while building something new. Many of the newer quests are even fully voice acted with cinematic cutscenes, stories that will leave you on the edge of your seat and often filled with some quirky British humor. RuneScape also isn't afraid to experiment with these quests, often leading to some hilarious and meta quests, including one where the creators of the game are wizards, and as well as when Gillinor discovered bacon. Now, questing isn't all sunshine and rainbows. Some of them can take a long time to do, which often makes you feel like you need to rush to finish it to unlock that cool reward. But at the same time, not all rewards are great. Some rewards can really feel lacking, as they were released 15 plus years ago and no longer have any use or relevance in the meta. RuneScape is often known for having one of the hardest to understand interfaces. Just looking at mine, you might be confused. But despite that being the case, I think once you learn the interface, you will find it to be the most enjoyable out of any MMO you've played, because Jagex had made the choice to allow players to fully control the way their interface looks. And I do mean full control. You can control everything from the size of the background of the gameplay, to the size of your windows, to where they are. You can even control pop-ups and where they belong. This often leads to players feeling overwhelmed, and it can be quite a learning curve. This is where knowing to use YouTube helps, as Jagex can often leave you feeling like you're fending for yourself. RuneScape has a very unique combat system among MMOs. Most MMOs use class-based systems and just allow players to make multiple accounts so that they can try a rebuild, or multiple characters. Instead, RuneScape lets you have access to all the different parts of your typical class. Summoning, for example, be like a shaman and summon powerful beasts to aid you in combat. Use prayers like a paladin to boost your damage and defense. Use potions like a druid to enhance with even more effects. Do you want to use a bow? Just train ranged. Do you want to use a sword? Train some melee stats. Or, if you want to be a wizard, train magic. This leads to the freedom to try unique builds, even switch combat styles in the middle of fights. Combat itself uses abilities and adrenaline to channel and deal more powerful blows. In combination with the interface, you can keybind literally everything. Switches, food, abilities, prayers, even your summoning familiar special attacks can be keybound. With such free reign over the combat system, this again can also feel like a lot to learn. Unlike the interfaces though, there is a most efficient build for each style, but there is nothing stopping you from building something unique with your character. Jagex also has been creating wide ranges of gear, with special abilities so that you aren't using the same gear in every scenario. This especially affects mid to late game players, as there's such a wide range of armor sets for different things. But just know, Jagex won't hold your hand and show you the way to use abilities, so make sure to use YouTube to watch it, or try out Revolution Combat Mode so you don't even have to think about it, and your abilities trigger automatically. Bossing in RuneScape is a little bit different from other MMOs, at least ones that I've tried. Many bosses are designed to be camped or killed over and over in 2 to 15 minute kill times. Depending on your skill, it can be lower or longer. There are also some group encounters, such as raids or elite dungeons, where you clear rooms of monsters and then kill 3 bosses, each with unique drop tables, often with the final boss dropping parts to a unique weapon. Nearly every boss can be fought together with a group for speedy kills, or you can fight it solo and hoard the loot. And when you are ready for a real challenge, some bosses have hard modes or even scale infinitely using an enrage system that allows you to risk loot fighting for a higher strength version of the boss for a chance at infinitely scaling drops. RuneScape even has a PVM bossing hub, which I'm standing in right now, called War's Retreat, where you can find tons of useful things for bossing, including portals that will teleport you instantly to any boss you have already killed, as well as an altar to recharge your prayers and reset cooldowns on abilities. RuneScape has even released a skilling boss, where you can use your non-combat abilities to test your skills and get some loot. Death used to be the #1 reason people would recommend avoiding bossing, but recently Jagex reduced the cost of deaths to a fraction of what they used to be, meaning you can learn without being punished nearly as much when you make mistakes. Which is great, because this used to be why people would often stick to skilling. Skilling in RuneScape isn't that bad. Skills in RuneScape are like no other, with 21 not involving combat and 28 total. You can enjoy hours of content. There are your typical MMOs, like woodcutting, fishing, cooking, and mining. Your typical class skills, like Slayer, Herblore, and Hunter. And then even clearing dungeons is a skill in RuneScape. The more recent skills have a wider depth and more unique design, with Invention allowing you to destroy old gear to use it to buff your skilling or armor, and even your weapons. Or you can train archaeology and delve into the deep past, unlocking great knowledge from ancient civilizations, granting you worldwide buffs, as well as exploring deep into the world's ancient history. Recent skills do go to 120, and old skills have been getting reworked from the historic 99 to 120, adding far more things to unlock and do. Now, with all that content, you may want to play with some friends. Well, many MMOs have different forms of grouping systems, but with RuneScape, that grouping system is called clans. In a clan, you can chat with friends in-game and own a massive flying citadel with plots of resources to keep your floating castle in the sky alive. There are clans for all types of players, though, if you don't have friends. If you can't get your friends to try it with you, there are all types of clans for you to join, ranging from ones focusing in bossing and skilling, or just to hang out. You'll often find that many of them are recruiting on the forums, or in games with posts around the game. Many of them also use Discords, though, as RuneScape doesn't have an in-game voice chat system. So make sure to ask yours if they have one you can join. Microtransactions are the bane of any game, and are often quoted as the reason why not to play RuneScape 3. RuneScape 3 has a wide range, and they can honestly be overwhelming at times. We have a loot crate system, which honestly gives out tons of XP and XP boosting items. You can get a lot of keys by doing quests though, so if you want to avoid spending your money, you can, but I do recommend staying away from it. You also have Solomon's Store, which is full of everything from recoloring your gear to outright full cosmetic overrides. It's often complained about because now you can't see what players are wearing, and that's usually how new players discover gear. There are a few good microtransactions though, being the Yak Track, which is like a battle pass, so at least you still have to play the game to unlock the rewards from this microtransaction. And finally, bonds, which allow players with real-world money to buy gold in the game, and people without real-world money to use gold inside the game to pay for all the previous mentioned microtransactions. Or you can play Ironman mode to avoid all of these altogether, but many people still don't like microtransactions in their game. From world building to game design, RuneScape is like no other, and in a class of its own. Maybe you used to play RuneScape and have been considering returning, or maybe you are new altogether. Either way, RuneScape has something for everyone, and being as close to a sandbox as an MMO can get, you are in control of how to shape your journey. So what do you guys think? Is RuneScape worth playing? What made you stop playing? What brought you back? Don't forget to subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.